What's up, everybody? John Eric Paula here with My MMA News, and I'm repping a gold tie because the person I'm talking to today just got gold over the weekend. I'm talking to Nick Browne, who won the LFA Lightweight Championship at LFA 97. He defeated Arthur Estrazulas in that fight. Great fight, back and forth fight. So let's bring Nick in here. So, Nick, congratulations on the win, man. How you doing out there in the outskirts of Pittsburgh?
It's good. It's great to have this medal, bring this medal back to Pittsburgh, representing well, but, doing well, healing up, ready for the next thing.
Awesome, man. And now, how's it feel now? I mean, you're only 2 days removed from it, but you're the champ. We see the belt there in the background. How's it feel to be having that gold belt to be walking around with?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a dream come true. It's one step towards my ultimate goal of being, one of the best in the world. And, if this doesn't prove it, I don't know what will, but, we got the gold back here home, families loved it, friends are loving it, super supportive and, ready for the next big thing.
Yeah, we're going to talk about what that next big thing might be, but first I want to just talk about the fight with Arthur just a little bit. You got 4 rounds on the judges' scorecards, but it wasn't like it was a lopsided 4 rounds. It was a close fight. It was back and forth. Blood was shed. Just tell everybody, just take us everybody through the fight just a little bit, and just how tough and how gritty that fight was to get through.
It was my first 5 round fight, so mentally, I was prepared coming into it. Never been 5 rounds, so I was kind of expecting to be a lot tired, more tired than I was. Finished strong, which was a huge feather in the cap. With our conditioning, our new diet change, everything worked together very well. We knew Arthur was going to be a dog to put down. He came with everything he had, and he had more losses, but he lost to some really tough guys, and putting me on that list of the guys he lost to is, a huge feather in the cap as well. But, we knew that 5 round was just going to be, back and forth. Loved they got the finish, but, it didn't end up like that. But we were ready for whatever.
So now, obviously, you just there how prepared you were. You were already to go for the 25 minutes. Sometimes though, there's fighters just have an instinct. Sometimes, like I know this is going to be a tough fight. I know it's going to be back and forth. Did you have this feeling going in? Did you know that it was going to be a very well could be a 25-minute war like it was?
We were prepared for it. We were kind of hoping not to go the whole 25 because anything can happen. The faster you go in there and finish, and especially leaving it into the hands of the judge is, that's the scariest thing. But going in there, pushing forward, using our, the wrestling base, and both being black belts, the ground was kind of, open to, whoever pushed first. But the stand up with back and forth ground was, more lenient towards me. So, it ended out well.
So one of the interesting things too about the fight, it took place in the state of Kansas. In case everyone's not familiar with it, Kansas is one of the few states that does the open scoring policy. So what was that like that you were able to know what the scores were at the end of each round?
It was definitely, I was sitting there looking at the score, thinking, okay, I'm ahead. Okay, he clinched that round. I got to push it a little bit more, but you know, it was definitely different to the point where I needed to, I wanted to win that round. I wanted to sit down in that chair the next, at the end of the bell, knowing that what was that score was going to be, I was going to be in favor of it. So, it was definitely a little pushing it back. Okay, if I sit down and I look across, something's got to change. The game plan might go out the window. Plan B might action, but that knowing that score kind of helped, gave me a little push.
So fighters have been debating on it, promoters have been debating on it. You're now somebody that's fought without the open scoring and now has fought with open scoring. Just what are your thoughts on it? And is this something that you'd be in favor of, that everyone should do it, or are you more a fan of the old-fashioned way that let it be a surprise till the end?
Definitely that surprise towards the end was kind of like always like, okay, that huge push in the back, like I got to push. I don't know what's happening, but if you're in a 5 round fight, which I happen to be and watching it, I'm at the fourth round, seeing I'm ahead. Okay, maybe I don't have to go for broke. Maybe he's not winning. Maybe, but your corner's trying to tell you that hey, you still need to push. So I mean, I was in favor of it, but I could see it being, hey, I'm ahead. I don't have to push too hard and then go out there and get obliterated. But, I'm in favor of it, I'd say.
All right, now let's talk a little bit about what's next for you here. LFA's had a long history of producing great talent, both for the UFC and for Bellator. We're not going to sit here and list everybody that's made it because we'd be here all day because so many great fighters have come out of the LFA promotion. So now here you are, you're the champ of it. What's next for you?
They offered me, if I don't get called up to, Bellator UFC, I do have another title fight, defense, if I wanted to, or, if that's what the cards hold for me, which I'm happy with. But, if I do get that call up, Bellator UFC, I'm more than happy to step up. And, I want to be one of the best. I want to be ranked one of the best. I believe UFC does hold, the better fighters right now to be, top 10 in the world, because that's where I want to be. That's the goal, to be one of the best. So, I'd love to get a call up from UFC, prove myself. This title might have been, good enough to prove it, but if I got to go in there and, try to finish the next guy, I will. But, 11-1 record, LFA champ, I'm ready for that next step.
And now, over the summer, I covered the Dana White Contender Series for MyMMANews pretty much the whole summer and even their season of the fall. And there was countless number of LFA fighters that Dana called and asked to come on the show. If that has to be the route, maybe if Dana were to call you up and say, "Hey, I want to take a look at you, come on the Contender Series," would you be open to something like that?
Definitely would be open to it. We had actually a call up before, but I was injured, so we had to say no, unfortunately. So that kind of goes against me in a way. So I'm ready for the next step. So if Contender Series or a fill-in fight for anybody in UFC, but we're staying ready. As soon as I heal up, we're going to be marketing, getting ready back into it.
All right, Nick. Now we actually have some things in common here. So you're a Pennsylvania guy like myself. You're out in the western part of the state, out a little below Pittsburgh. You were saying about 45 minutes south of Pittsburgh. I'm in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. So we also not only are fellow Pennsylvanians, but we also have some similarities in colleges. You went to Shippensburg University. I went to Lock Haven. In the same conference athletically. Now, I didn't wrestle. I was a track guy for 2 years, but I just wanted to know, being a wrestler in the state of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania is one of the most elite wrestling states in the country. Just how did the experience of wrestling big time in the PSAC and then even wrestling in high school help you to where you're at now in your pro fighting career?
I always say wrestling is one of the best bases, and I mean, statistically, it is. To be an MMA fighter, to have wrestling, it's a feared thing, but just that grit of every day of PA wrestling is just in your face wrestling nonstop until you can't move anymore. It's just a great example of what it takes to be a great MMA fighter. I wrestled in PSACs, and I actually boxed too for Shippensburg University. Was an All-American boxer for them. So I definitely started wrestling and boxing for them, and it kind of changed the outlook of my MMA career, and it just pushed me to be that better person I needed to be to have this 11-1, have the championship belt. So I definitely owe it all to the grittiness of wrestling and that Shippensburg boxing and wrestling definitely helped.
So now the boxing angle too is extremely interesting. Because a lot of times we see wrestlers in the sport that come over and they're so wrestling heavy because they're not comfortable on their feet. It takes them a little while to learn the stand-up part of it. You obviously had a boxing background, so obviously MMA stand-up's different than boxing. You're not out there doing the Queensberry rules and everything else, but just how did having that boxing background that you were used to going out there and punching other people and throwing different combinations and that type of stuff help you too for when you first got involved with mixed martial arts?
It definitely helped me like mix it up. I was known as a wrestler because that's what I felt comfortable as. And then my first amateur days, my first professional fights was going out grind in the wrestler because that's what I was used to. But as I became more comfortable, I could bring out that boxing, stick and move where I need to, and just keep proving that I can grow and just add more things and be more of a threat to become one of the best in the world. But that boxing definitely played a huge part in my MMA career.
And I want to actually go back to high school for a second. Like we were saying, Pennsylvania's such a great wrestling state. When you wrestled in high school, did you get to accomplish any of the like state medals, wrestling the state tournament, anything like that? Because Pennsylvania's so good at wrestling that you could not even qualify for the state championship. You could go to a different state and pin a state champion. That's just how good it is.
Yeah. I made it the regionals 3 times. I was ranked to move on, but I never actually made it to the state tournament. I was close. I had, I think, 97 wins, so I was close to 100 wins coming through, a triple A school. So that was a accomplishment in itself. But I never quite, panned out to be a great high school wrestler. Went to college, wrestled, and I think I wrestled my freshman year with 7-11 record. Just PA's just a different caliber where even if you're not great, you're good is great in most states.
100%. And even like you say in there too, just to go to Shippensburg, that's a Division II school in the PSAC, which is a highly competitive wrestling conference. It just goes to show you just how good Pennsylvania is in the state of wrestling. And now, Nick, I wanted to ask you just a little bit about the stage of your life that you're in. A lot of fighters that aren't in the UFC or in Bellator are in a spot where they might have to work full time during the day, do their training at night. Are you one of those people? Do you have to try to balance something out like that, or are you professional, just full time professionally fighting?
Right now I am working in the morning till I come to training, and I work construction, so it's keeping me in shape. Lifting the boards and crawling up the walls and doing everything. But yeah, I am working before training and then coming into training. Just it's a pretty long day, but that's what it takes at the end of the day is someone that can put in the hours and continue to push. So I'm blessed to have a job and then blessed to come in here and run this gym and have both really.
And what does that just teach you, like with discipline too? Just that you're able to keep the grind like that of balancing, just the struggles of life, working the 40 hours a week just to live, and then going out there and doing your passion.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I know. I look to run the gym full time once I do get that call up, or just defend the title and advance my career. But yeah, it's definitely a grind to work and train. But that's going to make me one of the best in the world.
And now we've seen a lot of fighters too. Pittsburgh does a great job out there with MMA. A couple different gyms out there. We've also seen a lot of fighters though. They do that as their home base, but then for their actual training camps, they might leave and go somewhere else. Did you ever give thought to maybe going out exploring other gyms, or are you're a Pittsburgh guy, thick and thin, right to the end? This is it. This is home.
I like to call this home as long as I can, but professionally, if I have to move, I will, just to better my career. And I can always come back. It's never gonna leave my heart. What I bring from this place is gonna carry through whether I go to Florida, California, wherever I need to go to push my career to its fullest. But I'd love to get a good career going, and in the midst of it, move back to PA if I have to, or if I just stay here the entire career. But we've definitely traveled, and there's so much talent around here that we're going to weigh the odds and see what the best outcome is.
And whatever the future has in store, again, you'll always be calling the Pennsylvania area home there. And I just wanted to ask you too a little bit just about that area. So many great athletes have come out of that Pittsburgh area. What is it about that western part of the state that just makes everybody so tough and gritty and makes everybody such a great athlete?
Just the mindset, PA, the wrestlers, the track and field I did in high school and everything, was just compete to be the best. If you weren't the best, you kind of got pushed on the sideline. So in order to compete, you always had to be the best. I love the wrestling aspect of everything, and just that put your nose in until you run through the wall. If you hit another wall, you got to try to run through that wall. So there's that nonstop grind of everything. So I can definitely attribute that to everything in the MMA career I have.
All right, Nick, we appreciate the time. Before you roll out, though, social media, management, sponsors, anything like that you didn't get the plug yet, if you want to plug it, please feel free to do so now.
I'd definitely like to thank Suavecito Tequila for their sponsorship. It was huge having them guys back in the business. TGB Supplements for all the supplements I've had. Joe Bike for, definitely jumping on board. My boy Jake Gordon for the tattoo sponsorship. And definitely thanks LFA, you guys for this interview. I'm more than thankful for everything. LFA lightweight champ. This is just the beginning of everything. So nothing but up from here.
Nick, it's our pleasure. Thanks again for doing this, and congratulations on winning that LFA lightweight championship. And looking forward to see what you do in the future. I'm sure the UFC and Bellator will be picking up the phones pretty soon there to give you a call. So enjoy the win, enjoy that time there in Pennsylvania. And to everybody that's watching this interview, just want to remind you guys, like I always do, if you didn't do so yet, subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can see great interviews like you just saw. And also make sure you keep going to MyMMANews because we're putting out great content every single day of the week that you're going to want to check out and take a look at. So we'll see you later, everybody.